All right, we'll make it.
You want to catch 10 seconds of dead air? We're about to give an hour of dead air.
No, I think we're gonna have. Have plenty to say. So we're recording this late because someone didn't do his homework.
It took me forever to watch this fucking movie.
There were first of all.
Do you know I almost?
Hold on
I basically hate watching this movie last night.
Hold on. There are literally like 3 things you could have watched last week leading up to the day we record that would have all satisfied us being able to talk about something today, and you had really not done any of those things. So
yeah, I don't really spend that much time watching TV in any capacity. This
is not true. I bet you sit there every night and she's watching.
What night from 8 to?
She's consuming
8 to about 11.
Trash anime and
no, there's not a lot of trash anime.
What's the show you're watching
currently?
Yeah. Weren't you guys watching something that was kind of like old back in the day stuff?
I
can see on your face you don't want to say
no, it. No. I'm trying to think of it. We were always watching something though. We're always watching
like something. A rerun thing. Yeah. Come on, you know what it is.
No, we do. We've seen so many. I'm trying to think of what the most recent one was.
Oh, all right. I thought you guys were like.
No, like there was the Sailor Moon thing. Oh, Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, really?
Powerpuff Girls. No. Well, and then the did you see? Did you see? They're repiloting it.
I never. Okay, well, I just read an article while I was on the shitter about how they threw it in the shitter and are redoing it.
Yeah. Here's the weird thing, with the same people, creative and they're not throwing new elements in. So it makes me think
it's not that they don't like the people involved or the casting.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right direction.
Or the scripts were terrible. Whatever it was.
Well, I don't know. I didn't read it. The scripts were bad. They bring in someone to rewrite that. I think it's it's more of like tone of the show.
I don't know. I used to.
Because it looks like a low rent porn.
I was I mean.
I mean, it is CW. We'll get some.
I watch a lot of I watch a lot of no rent porn. Yeah, I used to. I'll admit, like in my, I guess it was in my 20s, was when that show was on the air. Late 20s, maybe.
It's when it started, yeah, probably.
In my 20s, I would say I caught a few. I mean, it had enough adult winks in it.
It's a fun show, and
that fucking monkey.
Yeah.
What?
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, that was enough to watch the show for me. But
Powerpuff.
I think I watched it because it was it also on. Either maybe it was the same channel,
Cartoon Network,
as Invader Zim.
Oh, Invader Zim was Invader Zim was Nickelodeon.
All of it's the same.
By the way, Invader Zim top 10.
Right?
Cartoons
No, I have that on DVD, but but I'm not a big cartoon guy, so it's got to really. Yeah.
Which is actually surprising the shit out of me because I didn't know this about you until right now.
What?
That you were an Invader Zim guy.
I mean, not a guy.
You own the DVDs, which means you highly enjoy them.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Although there was a time where you just bought DVDs.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was looking at my DVD collection I've had packed away forever, and I'm like, I'm never gonna watch any of this.
Why did I
again.
buy these?
And I was thinking like,
why did I feel I needed ownership of this?
Yeah, and I'm like, what do I do with this?
Right.
I had to buy Venom just to watch Venom. I don't know if I'll fucking ever watch it again.
Well.
I might watch it like right before I see Venom 2 again, or the Carnage.
Oh, you're right. You rented the wrong Venom and bought the right Venom.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because that was the only option available to make it happen.
Right now, I think it's just in between deals of like distribution deals.
So before we get into this movie,
okay,
did you watch the Eternals trailer?
I did.
It just dropped. I still don't know what the fuck I'm watching.
Well, it's a teaser. Yeah. It tells you it's like
it's a true teaser, by the way, because I don't fucking know.
But like if you think back to any of the other teasers, they give you nothing. They show you everything and tell you nothing.
And I guess because I don't read or I don't know shit about the Eternals, I'm so much even more lost.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it might be better for you to not know anything going in because I have a feeling they're gonna change a lot.
Okay.
Because they're like all that shit is kind of tied to Inhumans.
Yeah.
So like. I mean, it's all like, I don't remember. They're all like, it's all under the Kree umbrella of coming to this planet when we were like cavemen monkeys and meddling with our DNA. And we got, not only did we get the Inhumans out of it, but we got the Deviants and the Eternals.
Yeah.
And then the regular evolved humans. So I think it was all under one umbrella. So I think they just are removing the Inhumans part of it out from the equation when it comes to the
as far as
Marvel
the cinematic.
Yeah. So
yeah, let's not revisit that.
Well, you could redo it. I mean, nobody watched the TV show.
No.
So it's not like anyone has a sour taste.
The only thing that TV show was good for were the YouTube videos mocking it.
I'll just maintain that as inconsequential, really, to the grand Marvel universe and comics that the Inhumans are the Eternals. So what's one or the other? It doesn't have to be. It shouldn't. Yeah. You don't need both, to me. And one's just without all that extra stupidity, like the Terrigen crystals and the mists and all this other horse shit that.
Yeah, if you definitely. The way they're doing
blue spot of the moon.
Yeah, they're throwing their A game at this Eternal shit. You're never getting it. You're probably not getting it.
I like they barely.
There's no Black Bolt in our future.
They barely show them in costume in this teaser. Like I don't know what the movie's going to actually be about, but it seems like it's going to be kind of an origin story of the Eternals and just them in history over millennia.
Yeah.
After millennia. But not really under some Starfleet vow of non-intervention until they decide to be involved, which is now in our time. It feels like now they're going to step into the world in our time,
because we've reached the point where we can do that now.
Whatever it's going to be, or they just see that we're incapable of. They can no longer just shepherd us from the shadows.
Yeah, the Avengers joke at the end.
We're out of but I mean we're out of control. We're gonna blow up the planet. I feel it's gonna be one of those stupid things. Or now that we're involved in outer space and Thanos came here. By the way, how are they gonna explain where they were during Thanos? It's gonna be some interesting stuff. It keeps it completely separate from the Marvel universe until you have that one shawarma moment where they're all sitting there having like family dinner or something. And they say, well, who's going to lead the Avengers now? And the guy that I think is playing Black Knight, who isn't an Eternal? Or was it, I couldn't tell if that was the one guy from Game of Thrones or the other guy from Game of Thrones.
Those are just a bunch of actors at a table for me
because they were just, it was dude with dark hair, short dark hair. I don't remember which brother it was, but if it was Black Knight, I think he did lead the Avengers for a little while. And if it was the other guy, that played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones. I don't even know what character I think he's actually playing an Eternal. It's weird because they're introducing Eternals and Black Knight. I don't know who else they're introducing in this, but it's like an odd combination that until they explain why with the ebony sword and the cursed, like you're immortal, but the sword thirsts for blood and all this weird stuff. I don't even know if they're going to, like, when you're introducing the Eternals, which is an eternal, like it's a long story, how are you going to fit a solid Black Knight or
there's going to be
introduction
a lot
in there too.
Of shit on that cutting room floor, man.
Maybe it's a 2.5 hour
and they're
movie.
They're going to take a fuck ton of creative license on it because most people have no fucking clue.
But they can rewrite.
Yeah, and they have.
For the Eternals and Black Knight and fucking Moon Knight and all these C-level characters, the She-Hulk, all this stuff, the Ms. Marvel, I think they're totally rewriting. She's not an Inhuman anymore. You could totally rewrite it because so few people are familiar with them in the comics anyways.
We're getting all this shit.
I fucking have read comics for 40 years. Like a solid 40 years of reading and collecting comics, okay? Probably. I mean, like reading when I was in summer camp in those early years, but...
back before the
days.
I
can't give you a solid Black Knight history.
I don't.
I know his name is Dane Whitman, and I know he's a little bit about the Blade, and he's a little crazy because the Blade tries to drive you insane because it thirsts for blood and all this shit. But it's almost like my eyes glaze over when he appears in the Avengers or these other things, and I don't pay attention because he's never been interesting. He's never had a comic, just like the Inhumans. Or the Eternals, or Moon Knight. Well, Moon Knight had a little bit, but the current Moon Knight or She-Hulk, It's not like they've ever had a successful run where they ran for 200 issues. It's always reboot, restart, fail, reboot, restart, fail kind of thing. So MCU could do whatever the fuck they want with it, and immediately it becomes the standard in the canon because millions of more people will know it just from the movie than would ever have known it from the comics that they popped in and they didn't read.
I'd like to think that I've been a comic book fan most of my life. Everything I know about Black Knight, you just told me.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking barely knew he was a character before this moment.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do their thing with it. So I'm not really.
I mean, again, it's a teaser.
They'll make me love it. I don't really.
It gives you just enough to be like, well, I mean, I want to know more because I know nothing.
Still no Namor or Doom, but we get the Eternals, everybody.
No, we're not. I don't think we're getting Doom till we get the Fantastic Four. Namor can be a side thing, a separate thing, maybe a Black Panther thing, a Wakanda Forever thing.
That's the rumor that they're gonna.
I don't know. I haven't heard any.
Although I think the rumor was
the only thing I know is that there's like the Tin Hat conspiracy looking for things where maybe they're not. Where was it Endgame?
Yeah,
she was like, oh, there's tectonic under the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Yeah. It's tectonics under the ocean.
Yeah.
We don't do anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like the slightest ever so like softball throw of like, hey.
Yeah.
You know? So it's going to happen eventually.
If that's even anything, or if they're just...
Yeah. I can't imagine we'll never get Namor.
But my point is that...
We're getting the fucking Eternals.
But that no, you will. But in Endgame, I think Namor might be under the same... maybe it's under some kind of contractual snafu, like the Incredible Hulk or something. Deal? No, not the Fox deal. I think it might be a Universal thing.
Really?
I think I read it somewhere once.
Oh.
But it could also have been an Endgame where they did that, not having any thought of Namor and just trying to illustrate that, Black Widow's just overthinking things. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like she's just gone nuts with this.
Oh, okay. Just in all the...
And that's why she's like, listen.
She's kind of like fucking with her almost.
It is what it is. We don't, because it's just earthquakes under the ocean. Chill out.
So, Ben, let's talk zombies.
Let's. Do you want to go into... All right, do you want me to run down my list and then anything I don't cover that is on your mind?
Listen, you've made a list, so we'll start with your list.
Yeah, okay.
I did not make a list.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I think Batista is a really good actor.
I really liked Batista in this movie.
He gets... I understand what he does when he's turning down roles in one thing to do another, because he's like one of those guys actually trying to get better. Mm-hmm. And wants to challenge himself, whether it's 5 minutes in Blade Runner.
And challenge the audience to actually appreciate what is becoming an art form for him.
Whether it's, taking a 10-minute role in Blade Runner, or I think he had to turn down Suicide Squad to do this. I think he was interviewed and he said that they conflicted and that they were shooting at the same time. It was a choice of one or the other.
I think you're right.
And Gunn had written a role for Dave, and it was like the hardest thing he had to do was tell Gunn, I have to take this because, this is an ensemble thing, and this I am the Suicide Squad thing. Even if you're the lead in that, you're lost
in the numbers of the celebrities.
And this was like Dave Bautista's movie. This army,
pretty much. That was my one glaring thing watching this movie that kept going back. I'm like, well, we all know Batista, but everyone else here is like the B side of a more famous person, and it's fine. I liked the movie for the most part, but there kept being kinds of like, okay, so you're just Kristen Stewart, but not. Like if this was
some of the other
actors? You're like, if this was an A-list casted movie, this is who you are.
Yeah, but
and he turned down that movie to make this movie, which is fine because it worked. It really did work.
Well, but also it's funny that he turned it down for Zack Snyder's movie because in a kind of full circle way, if you think about it, how everything's connected in the universe. remember that James Gunn wrote Dawn of the Dead for Zack Snyder's. That was a Gunn script.
Yeah.
That Zack Snyder
was this a direct
directed.
Was this a direct prequel to the? To
this
Dawn
is.
of the
I don't
Dead?
think this has anything to do with Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
Dawn of the Dead's kind of a remake.
Yeah, because me and the wife were talking about this because she sure it was. I'm like, no, Dawn of the Dead, that's Romero. Like they're not remaking Romero.
Well, they did in Dawn of the Dead.
Like Zack Snyder did, but what he's doing now is something different.
This is his zombie verse that he's setting up. Let's get right into that. It's not on my notes.
Okay.
But I saw. Did I send you that thing? That TikTok thing about the aliens and the robots?
You might have. I haven't seen it
Zack
yet.
Snyder has even confirmed this. That in the beginning, you see 2 alien ships in the distance that were following the convoy. And then they fly off when it like kind of all hell breaks loose. And then later in the movie, I noticed it the first time I watched it, and then the second time I looked for it again. Like 1 or 2 of the zombies they shoot, sparks fly out of their heads. And
I'm
stuff.
not the only one.
And like lights.
Man, I kept thinking I was seeing something.
And Snyder said those were robots. Like maybe aliens
What?
don't. So I don't know. Maybe we're gonna find out.
I kept wondering. I'm like, what
Maybe
kind
we're gonna
of guns
find
are they
out-
using? Like,
maybe
what
we're-
kind of bullets are
Maybe
they
we're gonna
using?
find out the aliens put some robot zombies in there to monitor everything. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna shake out.
This now becomes my second biggest problem with this movie.
But-
There's no goddamn explanation for that.
But that I like that, and if there's gonna be more, we're gonna get it. There's going to be an animated thing coming out that's going to explain, like, I think it's a prequel that's going to explain a lot of it. And we're getting the Safecracker's backstory. He's getting his own movie that's a prequel also, where he goes on a heist, and it explains why he's now working at that locksmith place. So they're expanding this universe. I kind of dig the way they did the zombies in this movie if we're getting zombies, aliens, and robots.
yeah,
Kind of like a whole fucking smorgasbord
God damn it!
of
I'm
stuff.
just realizing this is going to be the most Zack Snyder thing ever.
Really,
Holy shit.
really. If it was just a zombie movie, I have issues.
Yeah.
One was my status I put on Facebook where I said Zack Snyder obviously has a zombie pregnancy fetish because now 2 for 2 in 2 of his zombie movies,
He's got
he's had pregnant zombies,
he's got some weird thing going on.
and in this one it's like, listen. If you haven't gone already, we're spoiling the shit out of this. So I always feel bad that we don't say something.
We literally never not do we always do spoilers always.
So listen. First of all, I think Batista is a really good actor, or he's becoming a really good actor.
I think that he's
it's
making
funny.
his way.
It's funny that starts to shine and become like obvious in a fucking Zack Snyder zombie fest.
And you know what ties into that is how he feels about his Drax role, where he's come out and he said, "Listen, I'm 52. I can't do the shirtless shit. It's really
Forever, yeah.
It's really hard.
It's getting harder and harder.
It's getting harder and harder, and you can see this natural transition into the actual art of the acting. So now he's doing roles where he's fucking Batista, so he's always going to have those Arnoldy type roles, but he can actually act now.
But look, it's like
His range.
But all of those guys, I mean, like The Rock's, I'm sure.
The Rock's an anomaly.
Yeah, but if you look at his movies, it's not like Hobbs is running around through half the movie, or
Only when it matters.
was his character was Hobbs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't like Shaw or Hobbs, whichever one it was.
Hobbs.
That he's running around through half the movie with no shirt on. It's not like when he's plays Black Adam, he's gonna have no clothes on. He's got a superhero costume, you know. So, even though he's taking these big actiony roles, he's not taking. Same with Batista. It's like this was a super action movie, but he wore a shirt and a vest and gear and whatever. You know, he wasn't running around naked through. Now,
got them big old arms.
Now, the zombies, on the other hand, it seemed like, just like in
They were all Jared Leto cosplayers.
Just like in in Buffy the Vampire Hunter or Slayer, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where
the Vampire
as
Hunter.
soon as you become a vampire, you also become a martial artist.
Yes.
These zombies all seem to become super jacked, shirtless parkour
Yep.
and hand-to-hand combat specialist.
That's what happens, Ben. That's
I
the
don't know if
perks.
that was spread from the original zombie from his bite. If that he gives you that ability or whatever.
It's part of the perks when you're dealing with a cybernetic alien zombie.
Right. I don't know what it is. We do know that there's some military tie because not just because it was a military convoy,
It literally
Delivering
movie
this.
starts, yeah.
but he's wearing dog tags through the whole thing. And I think in the beginning when he comes out of the truck, there's those pads on his chest too, like that you hook up to like EKG machines and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, and that beginning, it's kind of like, I mean, I guess you can parallel anything to anything, but it reminded me of Return of the Living Dead, where they were transporting the oil container that had a zombie in it, and when it was driving, it fell out the back of the truck or something. I think it was Return of the Living Dead 2, and started the whole zombie breakout in that movie. But yeah, I think I don't know. This guy was like 7 feet tall. This main zombie,
He had the iron helmet.
like the Patient Zero zombie or whatever. He was 7 feet tall. He was. I looked him up. He was the Ben Affleck's double in like Batman and Justice League.
Ben Affleck is not 7 feet tall, Ben.
I know, but he is when this
He
guy's
must
playing.
strikingly look like Ben Affleck.
Well, maybe they have been on 3 foot blocks. When... Anyway,
I think Ben Affleck's my height.
he whatever. So I'm just saying the guy's super tall, super big, super
Yeah.
jacked, whatever. He's also like apparently. So what I'm confused with is, do they know who they are still? Like this prime guy, this if you will, this alpha. I think they call him. I think it's like in the credits, it's Zeus. They call him Zeus. So let's call him Zeus. And the zombie bride, I'll call the other one. I don't know if those are the official 2 names, but I think they keep referring to him as Zeus not in the movie, but in when I see interviews or write-ups, or I think in the credits it also says Zeus. I don't remember. That he, if he bites you, you're not one of those dummy zombies. You're like one that can think and
You
act,
are.
and you can obey orders. And apparently, I didn't see a lot of people eating in this movie. It seemed like a lot of biting, and then like I didn't see a lot of like just zombies stopping and having a meal. You know what I mean? Making a
I
meal.
saw
of you.
one zombie stop and have a meal. It's my favorite scene in the movie.
But
Good old tiger.
yeah,
Carrot
that's
basket.
see this ties in. Do these people remember who they are?
I have no idea, man.
Because it's like, or did they just, or does the bite just infuse them with a different intelligence and ninja abilities?
My thought is the alpha.
Does he control them like
Zeus.
Dracula? Is this a Dracula kind of thing?
Yeah. Where like he kind of has the idea. He's got the metal shield. Like he understands.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like if he understands to make himself a helmet so his brain doesn't get shot, why wouldn't any other zombie under him have a helmet?
It would make me think that it's more the that he has the Dracula effect where he just basically endows
But
you
wouldn't
with
he
your
want
purpose.
wouldn't he want his army to be a little as
Maybe not. At the end of the day, he's Zeus. Maybe he needs to be Zeus, and that if anybody was ever an equal, they could possibly stop him, kind of thing.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know. He's an alien cyborg.
I'm trying to like logic. Snyder's logic.
He's an alien cyborg. There's no logic. They threw it out the window.
I don't know that he's an alien or a cyborg.
I don't know.
I think there were cyborgs running around too.
No. There were some sparks that were
Right.
with the zombie heads,
Right.
and
But
now I'm gonna watch the fucking
But
movie
when his
again.
head exploded like a normal head, remember at the end, he didn't have a robot parts in him.
So did his wife. It's the best splatter I've seen in years.
Oh, when the head dropped on the ground.
I loved that it was like a silent moment. There wasn't music. It was like.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think they do in The Walking Dead. I think they've logicked this part out, but maybe this zombification is different because obviously some of them are still smart and some of them can do these things. That generally, if your body's dead and it keeps rotting, that even if your brain is still moving the parts around, that it's still rotting, which means it's becoming soft and vulnerable. So that like the longer the body's dead, the easier it is to deal with, like fight it, smash its head in, all that stuff.
You know what these zombies felt like to me? They felt like the better versions of the I Am Legend zombies.
Oh, a little bit, because the I Am Legend the only problem with the I Am Legend zombies is that they were all digital. If they were like this, that movie would have been so much better.
And with the original ending. I mean, the original ending, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the original ending is because I don't know if you're talking about the book.
Yeah, the book. The
Last Man on Earth.
The original ending of I Am Legend was from the book, where he realizes like, oh fuck, I'm the monster. Where in the movie, it's just they go with the cure because they shot it too. They shot the full ending, but apparently test audiences didn't understand because people are fucking.
I don't understand either. What do you mean What do you mean he was the monster?
Because at the end of the book in the Charlton Heston movie.
No, that's okay. That's a remake of the Vincent Price movie.
Oh, I never saw.
Which is based off the book.
I never saw the.
The Last Man on Earth is like I think the closest. The Vincent Price one's the closest to the book, and it's literally like there are elements of the Heston one where they're taunting him and they're speaking to him, but it's literally like he hangs. They're almost vampiric, where he's hanging. I think he was hanging like garlic on the doors to keep him out, and they were banging on his windows and yelling at him and stuff like that.
Oh,
it's very different.
Really, Mad Max-ish almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different than what we got either in the Charlton Heston one or.
But the original ending for I Am Legend was he realizes that they just want her, and he lets them in. They grab her. He sees that they have emotions and thoughts and feelings and their souls, and he's like, fuck me, I'm the bad guy, you know. By the way, that movie can never watch again. The puppies, the dog scene.
The dog thing?
No, man, I can't.
Were you singing Bob Marley to
Jesus Christ, man.
It's gonna be all right.
It's one of the few times I almost legitimately cried in a movie theater because I had lost my dog not too far from that moment. When did that movie come out?
I don't know.
Like 2008 or 9?
Sure, why not?
Okay, my dog died my German Shepherd died in fucking 2007. And I'm just sitting there watching it like going, this is why am I paying to get tortured? What the fuck? Speaking of torture, man, those fucking zombies, man. The fucking the security guard there, he got all kinds of fucked up in this movie.
Well, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I mean, he was stereotypically the bad guy and got what he deserved. I think him and maybe one other character. I wrote it all down. I don't know where. I was going to kind of go beat for beat here and get to him. But he's kind of those ones where you could have done so much more with him. But it comes down to, do they remember who they are? Or do they understand you when you're not? Like, see, he was the kind of guy that would have told that dude anything to not get bitten or eaten. Mm-hmm. And he knew their plan. He knew what was going on. He knew what they were doing. Would you not grill him about that? Or afterwards, when he becomes a zombie, why wouldn't he go get revenge on that bitch that shot him and killed him? You know what I mean? Instead, it's like they bring him back to basically get killed right off. He just walks into the room, bites one of the girls, and they fucking kill him.
By the way.
So what was the point? Why did we even need to see him come back?
Why were those women still alive? Is it because he was fucking them?
I don't know.
Was Zeus trying to get him pregnant?
I don't know.
Because they should be
well,
dead.
the zombie, but the other one was a zombie that had a baby in her. So I don't know. And the thing came out blue, and then turned red. I was like, is that alien stuff? What are we doing here? I don't even know.
Nothing makes any sense.
I don't know why he was keeping them like that. It just seems to have served this whole side storyline we didn't need with the really selfish daughter who's like on this mission with them and puts them all at risk to go save this dumb bitch that went to, I don't know, grab a few bucks off the ground in Vegas.
And that's what boils down to one of my first biggest problem with this movie. It was beat for beat the most predictable fucking movie I've watched in a long time.
And that goes to the Coyote character too, because it's like she fucked up, she knew it.
It was so predictable.
And then was trying to have this redemption story, but they didn't show enough of her like story of like taking them in there, losing them, her feeling terrible about it, but coming back out and now trying to make good for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't have enough. Was it cut? I don't know.
And that seems to be with almost every character. Like you're missing a few moments per character to really give a fuck about a lot of these decision makings, even though you kind of understand, but it's also predictable. You just knew beat for beat how this movie was going to go.
Sorta.
I pretty much called most of it, buddy.
I mean, listen, the other thing with the Coyote thing that bothered me was that she's like she's going to go take them into the walled up city, which it was kind of a cool idea that they just had the shipping containers.
That was cool, yeah.
Although those parkour motherfuckers should have been able to
just been over it in fucking
pole
minutes.
vaulted over those things. I don't know what it was a little contradictory, but I just found it interesting that they kind of just walked through like two containers to a door with like a 2x8,
like nobody's gonna find
like
that?
a 2x6 or 2x8.
It was like super zombies. It was like kicked down
half a ceiling joist that was like, used to hold the door closed.
It seemed really.
And then you open the door and there's piles of zombies, but they're not in front of the door. Nope. It's like a pathway to the door. So if you're like on the zombie side of it, you're looking at these piles of zombies and you're going, oh, look at this cleared out area. And there's a door here.
Yeah. How convenient.
And it's held closed by a piece of wood.
Janky ass 2x6.
They go through that thing.
Yeah.
And you didn't, like, just please, for my benefit, my OCD, just show them closing the door behind them.
Oh, also, because we're here now, before we get in, we're here, this is from a thematic.
Was that his daughter or his stepdaughter? I think it was his daughter.
But
it was like really
it's
weird.
His daughter. By the way, that whole killing his wife in front of his daughter thing because of the whole zombie thing, I was like, way to give someone a tragic backstory. That really, as somebody who's about to become a father, I'm like, oh my God, this is terrifying.
And then she's like, I'm not mad at you for that.
Yeah,
obviously she was a zombie. Fuck her.
I'm mad at you that you just a fucking beard.
Yeah.
No, okay, so here's my one thing about this movie. I'm like, and this is going back to, this is Zack Snyder. How did you not come back to this? How did you lay this egg out for us and then just let it rot? They open the door. They come out. Piles of zombies fucking everywhere. They spend enough time to tell you, oh, they're not
all
dead.
They're just dehydrated.
They're just dehydrated. Like, if there's a good rain, we're all fucked. And I'm like,
right.
The movie ends and I'm like, wait a minute.
That should have been them trying to get out. Should have been the sky starts opening up.
That's the one part about the movie that I called right then and there, and then they just went left field with it. And I went, that would have been one of the greatest things ever, because these are just shambling zombies.
It's a
traditional zombie.
It's a weird concept because I feel like once the body's destroyed, it's destroyed. I don't understand like hydration on like
I don't think
corpses
Zack Snyder
and stuff.
understands zombies. I think he's just doing his own thing.
I've seen or I've read in like certain like I think the Guide to Killing Zombies and certain shows or movies. I think maybe the Walking Dead comics that like if you live somewhere where it freezes, that they'll all freeze and you won't have to worry about those zombies till the thaw.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that.
It's similar.
Las Vegas.
It's similar. As to like, oh yeah, all these zombies don't have enough sense to get in out of the sun, and then the sun is just evaporating all the liquid out of their body, so they can't move. But rain doesn't hydrate you internally. You would have to drink that. You know what I mean?
It's a little weird.
It's a weird
thing.
Thing.
It's like Zack Snyder just like saw a George Romero movie when he was 14, had a fucking weird dream high on sugar, and that was what zombies were to him from there on out.
I mean, they can be whatever you want, but within your own.
He doesn't do a bad job, by the way. I'm not shitting on him.
When you're within your own universe, you either have to stick to your own rules that you set, or remember when you, like you said, set something up to follow through with it.
And that's something where it's like, that's a pretty obvious setup, I would think. Like, you're letting the audience know, like, I'm going to have some fun in about an hour and a half here, people. And it was just like, wow, Zack Snyder. That'd be like Michael Bay having a helicopter in his movie and there's no slow-mo. You'd be like, what happened? How'd you lose that? How'd you leave that on the floor?
The dehydrated zombie thing is really weird.
Yeah.
I like that in this movie, he hints back to his Dawn of the Dead stuff, though.
There's a lot of callbacks to that.
Because mostly the music. Mm-hmm. He even uses the Richard Cheese covers, like in the beginning, the first for the title montage. It's the same thing they did. They used that guy also did a song or two in Dawn of the Dead. The music in this movie was great. The selection was great. It was weird that a lot of the songs were like covers. It was like there were a lot of fucking covers.
It
was like you got The Doors' The End.
And
but it wasn't The Doors. It was,
it's a lot of different versions of covers.
Yeah.
Like non-traditional.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
that's what a cover is. It's not, I'm not saying it's...
Well, we know most people know covers as like direct covers.
No.
But these are just that weird like, you have to really be listening.
I feel like there's no reason to do a direct cover. Just pay... At that point, you might as well be using the original.
Snyder does love that shit, though.
I mean, and maybe because he's used to... Here, maybe this is what... like in... Justice League, he uses Leonard Cohen, uses this guy, uses that guy. But that's because he's shooting for Warner Brothers, which has a big music department and has a big catalog of music. Now he's working for Netflix, and they're like, we don't own any music.
Yeah. and I don't think Warner Brothers would take his phone call right now.
And I was watching well, he wouldn't take theirs either. Yeah. But I've been watching a few making of things from this. And I think when they were doing the shootout in the casino, that they knew what music they were using, and they were kind of sequencing to it. Mm-hmm. So they knew what the music was. I don't know in that scene if they used the original or if they used the cover, but I think it's much cheaper to use a cover for when you're doing that stuff. I think the publishing rights or whatever.
Listen, nobody cares when you're watching that movie.
So the funny thing was, I didn't realize also either, because it's been so long since because of COVID and all this shit. I forgot that this was the movie that Chris D'Elia kept talking about, that he had just landed the big fucking movie that was going to change his career.
And that was one of the things that because I knew about this.
I forgot.
I was looking for the whole thing. And let me tell you something. Tig Notaro's,
I watched it twice looking for it.
Who filmed all for her scenes except one.
In front of a green screen.
In front of a green screen.
With just a skeleton crew.
You cannot tell.
She met one actor from the entire cast. The one that walked with her to the elevator.
Yeah.
Because that was the scene they shot, location.
That's it. And her dialogue, by the way, is shot for shot D'Elia's dialogue because it had to match up because everything was already...
Is it? Or did they trim...
I read an article before I came over here where one of the things was they had already shot...
I bet they trimmed some of it.
Well, they might have trimmed a little bit.
Because maybe some of it... Because I know twice... In that one scene where they're talking through the fence to each other when he's recruiting her, and she's like, "I don't need to know what it is. $2 million, I'm in. Yeah. Helicopter, whatever." Yeah. At the end of it, he calls her Bud twice.
Yeah,
like, okay, Bud. You call a dude Bud.
Yeah, Well, that's the thing. He said basically.
So I'm assuming they might have cut some stuff.
What it boiled down to was they needed to replace, and they made the decision to replace D'Elia. They had the budget to do all the digital and everything left over, but they didn't have enough to get more people involved. So it was this is the actors, this is the dialogue, make it work.
Right.
So so a lot of his dialogue is her dialogue.
What's weird is do you go into? I mean, it's an opportunity. Let's keep it straight. But
it's definitely a good soldier opportunity.
Do you feel weird taking a role like that, or are you like? Fuck that guy. I'll just I'll do his shit line for line. Fuck him.
Yeah, I think that's.
Let's erase him from this reality as well.
Especially considering what he's accused of,
and all that grooming and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. She was definitely down for that, probably.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's and
I would love to see like a 10-minute YouTube video or like like a special on Netflix or something about just about working Tig into the movie.
Yeah, because there's definitely gonna be a featurette at some point probably on Netflix about it because it was a big thing. It held the movie back. They really like this movie was supposed to be out like a fucking 6 months ago or some shit or whatever it was. Like they had to do a lot to make it work, and it's fucking flawless.
I looked
from a pure visual standpoint. You cannot tell that she was not supposed to already.
I looked in a lot of like that one scene where they're talking through the fence to each other. There's not one shot of the three of them in it. It's one or the other two. Other scenes they digitally put her in the group. But it's lit right. They do some focus stuff, foreground, background kind of stuff, so that it blends a little easier.
And by the way,
you would not know she's an afterthought, a digital correction, if you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing. This is like here's the biggest plus of the movie to me. Visually, between practical CGI and all that shit, this is a fucking home run, man. This is a really, really pretty movie. Like, between the practical effects, the CGI, and everything else, and how it blends together, dude, like, this is one of the best, like, zombie... This is what Resident Evil should be. Like, this is the closest thing to a Resident Evil movie we've ever got.
I think that was one of the other missed opportunities, though, was that, like, not necessarily Resident Evil, but, like, because this was a walled-off city, and you don't get a real solid timeline from outbreak to heist.
No, it's just cutscenes.
You don't know if it's 6 months, 2 years. It feels like it's been a while. Like people have settled into something else.
People have forgotten zombies exist at this point.
No, but people have been able to settle into like working at diners and doing car repairs and things like that.
Well, it's only isolated in Vegas.
I know, but I'm saying like I don't know how much time has passed. Yeah. Like between outbreak and going and rescuing that. Like that, I think that general or secretary of whatever that Batista saved was one of the guys meeting with the guy.
Do you know what I think?
I don't understand why they had to bait and switch them and not just say, "Listen, we're paying you to go get a blood sample or a head."
Yeah.
Instead of like, we're using you to get our guy in.
Yeah, that was dumb. But here's enough time. Here's the time frame. It took enough time from Ground Zero to happen to the United States of America going like, it's time to nuke Vegas. That decision didn't happen in 24, 48 hours.
No.
So
you couldn't.
It took a lot of time.
Well, here's the thing. You're fighting this battle to take back a city. You're losing the battle and also have enough time to have fought out a losing battle, but have walled it off.
Yeah.
At the same time, you've contained it. That seems like more than 2 weeks. The wall, but I was gonna say the walling it off. It seemed like more like you could have done instead of like a heist thing. It could have been more like an Escape from New York kind of thing at that point,
which is kind of what I was thinking.
Where you've got like a zombie society in there with a hierarchy and a thing, and they had like that big pool was so wasted. That could have been like kind of like, remember when they go and there's the wrestling ring and Ox Baker and all that stuff in Escape from New York,
or Escape from LA where there's a basketball court.
That's what I'm saying. But either one, Escape from LA or New York,
it seemed very Escape from New York.
It becomes like a contained thing that, left to itself, becomes its own society.
Yeah.
And then you have to go rescue someone from it. I think that almost works better in like a heist thing.
Yeah.
But again,
there were little elements of a lot of like here's
because the heist thing, it's not so much a heist movie because there's no, like, if you watch an Ocean's 11, there's all that, like, fooling this guy and sneaking into this thing.
Well, they're fooling one zombie for the other zombie.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're missing, like 9/10 of the heist aspect.
Yeah.
When it's just undead, you know?
Yeah,
it's just, we need a safecracker. And we need someone that can go through the 3 trials of Christ to get to the chalice or whatever.
There's so many elements of other... Well, better, but classic movies in there, like the woman with the YouTube star.
Yeah,
she
was a badass.
She's Vasquez from fucking Aliens. It's the same shit. She went out like an absolute G.
She's her and Zeus are both, from what I understood, are both stuntmen.
Okay.
And I think someone was saying how surprisingly good she was in this movie.
I loved her.
Being
She
that
was
her roots were in
great.
stunts. My main qualm with her and anyone else that went into a zombie-infested wasteland was the lack of clothing on these people.
Yeah.
The tank tops and the sleeve.
We'd be dressed as Eskimos.
Shorts. No, you're wearing boots. You're wearing thick cargo pants that are duct taped around your ankles so they don't sneak up.
Yeah.
And then you're wearing probably some kind of
well, it's good. You have chainmail and shit you can wear.
Well, it's not chainmail.
But there's like lightweight.
You don't need chainmail. All
there's
that
lightweight Teflon or some shit.
No, well, all those shin guard type things. That plastic stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to bite through that. Your teeth are going to slide off of it. So you don't need anything heavy. But you should have paintball gear.
Yeah.
You should be wearing paintball gear.
At the very minimum, yes.
Paintball gear with the goggles, everything, so you can't get bitten.
You'd want to be dressed like a SWAT guy,
right.
preferably.
Now, granted, it's Vegas.
Yeah.
But what I mean,
it's only a 24-hour operation.
So going at
You're
night,
in and out.
Going at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think it was better. It probably worked better for them to go in the daytime. I don't know if you want it. I don't know.
Are they nocturnal or do they hibernate during night?
Well, but see, they centers inside the buildings. They don't come out very often.
We confuse them. If you confuse them with the Will Smith one.
It's
where
weird,
they hibernate
right?
during the day.
But they only come out the territory.
But they
thing.
burned from the sun.
Yeah.
And
the Will Smith ones.
Yeah. So this,
but I think they saw
that was the thing.
But they saw the Shamblers dehydrate.
That's why I said the garlic thing, because they had vampiric tendencies in that movie, qualities.
Yeah. I don't know.
I remember because in the original, the Last Man on Earth, he was hanging garlic on the fucking windows.
All I know is my favorite zombie was the fucking tiger. Carol Baskin's tiger.
But again, it's like, how smart is a tiger? I get it was a trained tiger, but how is he retrained to patrol? You know what I mean? There were things that were just
I think the other zombies just let him do his thing.
But they were saying he patrols out here. Yeah. And it's like, but does he listen to Zeus?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Zeus go and bite a tiger?
I think that's what happened.
I mean, and it's I'm just trying, I want them to say, this is the rule. And this is why.
I don't think Zack Snyder films with rules.
He does.
Here's the funny thing.
He just didn't give us enough of it.
One of my first
because there are aliens and robots and we don't know anything about them. So that'll explain so much.
And one of the craziest things is this is very brightly colored, very vibrant. And I'd forgotten that Zack Snyder knew anything about color palettes
or shooting during the day.
Because for 10 years
shooting in the day.
I mean, you're thrown off. You're like, you almost think you're watching a Michael Bay movie at first. You know, you're like, oh, so much color.
We didn't get a slow motion American flag anywhere.
We got no slow motion Americana. Oh man, he would not have missed that.
No kid pulling a radio flyer.
Yeah, the whole hey, we're gonna move up the nuclear bomb. It would be a big firework like 4th of July.
I mean, that. Obviously, that was a shot at Trump.
Yeah.
And they thought Trump was still going to be in office when this movie came out. It's kind of patriotic if you think about it. They also had, it was funny, the two talking heads that did some exposition about blowing this place up and whatever. The two talking heads were Sean Spicer, the first press secretary. I don't know if you caught that.
Was he in the movie?
He was when they were debating.
No, I know it, but I thought it was. When
they were on the TV debating.
I thought it was an actor.
No, that was Sean Spicer and Donna Brazil.
Like what they do with Nixon.
No, it was Sean Spicer and Donna Brazil.
Oh my God! They hired him to do it.
Yeah, of course they would do it.
That's a cool
it's a
picture.
payday, and they get to be in a Netflix zombie movie.
And
a Zack Snyder film?
Zack Snyder wined and dined him and made him feel like $1 million.
No, they called him. No, they didn't. They called him in for a day. Said there's catering over there, and at the end of the day, they were like, "Thank you," and they said, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass." Trust me, these were day players. These were one-day wonders. I bet you Zach wasn't even on set. That was like third unit that shot that.
By the way, biggest miss casting wise is why wasn't the dude who was Mr. Tamayaka or Janaka? What the fuck the guy the
Tanaka.
Why wasn't that David Hasselhoff? That should have been David Hasselhoff.
Because they got a cool actor. It was just weird that he was.
Who is that guy?
That's the dude. He was just in Mortal Kombat as Scorpion, and you're looking at me like you didn't watch Mortal Kombat.
I watched Mortal Kombat, but
he's like a big fucking. He's like one of the big guys that does stuff in America.
oh,
Yeah. He's like a big dude. You'll have to look him up later because I can't think of anything else.
because I'm just like, you just seem like you're David Hasselhoff. I don't know. Maybe it was just me watching the movie, and I'm like,
There's only so much of level cheese. Here's the thing. I think you throw David Hasselhoff in the movie, it takes you out of the movie.
or is David Hasselhoff
You're immediately
too
like
old?
David Hasselhoff.
Is he too old to be in these movies?
No, not to be the age of someone that would own a casino.
What about like Eric Roberts? Eric Roberts would have been done in that good
That
role.
wouldn't have been a bad one.
Yeah.
But this guy was fine. He's a heavy hitter of an actor.
He had a hell of a death. The only person who's been mauled better than him won an Oscar for it.
Oh wait, who are we talking? Oh, you mean his boy that got eaten by a tiger?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the boss.
No!
Oh, Garrett Dillahunt.
Oh.
That guy's been in everything.
Okay.
He literally came from Fear the Walking Dead to do this. Like 2 issues ago,
We were talking about the wrong person.
He
first.
died in Fear the Walking. I thought you were talking about the boss. The
No,
Asian
the
guy.
boss is great. He's fine. He did his thing.
Takagi.
Yeah,
was it Takagi?
Takagi?
That's
Takagi!
that's Die Hard.
Wrong heist movie.
Tanaka, a real heist movie. Tanaka. No. Oh, you're talking about his underling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he's great.
God, I wanted that to be Hasselhoff so bad.
No, because Hasselhoff's too old to do action.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Oh, I thought you meant to be the owner of the
No.
casino. No. This guy was perfect.
That would have been fantastic.
Dillahunt's
but no.
been in a gazillion things. He's been in Fear the Walking Dead recently, and I discovered him in a little show called Deadwood. They loved him so much, he played 2 different characters.
Did he
He played a
also-
character that killed Buffalo Bill, and then they hung him, and then he came back like the next season as the chief geologist for George Hurst, and was in the next 2 years of it. This guy's a great actor, great character actor. He's a chameleon that can, like, you won't recognize him from movie to movie sometimes. He's fantastic. In this, he was underserved. He was underserved with this role.
Well,
He could do more.
how many times has he died by being mauled by a tiger? In any capacity? Is this the first?
This is the second time he's been mauled by zombies.
Okay, fair enough. I just listen. It was like what? It was like it's
Actually, he didn't get mauled by zombies, but he did become a zombie.
It was like watching like the Leo DiCaprio getting mauled by a bear, only like with a zombie tiger, and it was fantastic, and I loved every moment of
cool.
it.
Just
What?
ate the whole.
Oh my
front of his
god!
face
And
off.
the way he tortured him, oh, I loved it
And he had
so
little
much.
spurts of blood coming out of his neck.
Oh my goodness! Like that zombie tiger whooped his ass.
It was set up too, because like at 2 separate points earlier, he's like,
I hate that tiger.
it's just not right. I think he called it perverse at
Yeah.
one point. Then of course the tiger's the one that gets him.
Oh my god! I loved it so much.
That Fall of Vegas montage, like that was great because they I feel like that's where it's kind of like becoming a Zack Snyder trademark in a lot of his movies, that the title card montage
Sets up the movie.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
since Watchmen, I guess, would be the one I remember, where you get the Watchmen really did a good
Wow,
job.
he really does love that shit, doesn't he?
Watchmen did a really good job of setting
Yeah.
it up, and then like in Justice League, it goes right from the death of Superman into it. And, but this one, it was really like, it was like have as much fun as possible. Just all the ridiculous things, Liberace and Elvis impersonators.
You know what made me mad? The chainsaw got used in the credits, and then never again.
Oh, you mean the
The zombie killing.
cement saw, you
Yeah,
mean?
They used it to cut a fucking hole in the thing, but I'm like, you didn't use it to massacre a billion
Didn't
fucking
kill one
zombies.
zombie.
Not one fucking zombie.
Didn't kill one zombie. And they do this. It's funny. They do this whole thing in the title credits. They introduce this character whose total story arc begins and ends. You like get attached to this character.
Mm-hmm.
She saves the little girl, and then they both get squished by the final
Yep.
piece of the wall
Yeah.
as she's getting eaten.
And Batista cries.
Yeah, I guess you're saying there's like some story there. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. But,
Did he just like, we just need you to be the most tragic character available,
and
Like,
you'll be gone
Yeah.
within the first 5 minutes.
and anybody that you love will die. Like except his daughter, which
She's just like
that
yeah.
that hell. I have
Well,
such
they're
a
like
problem with that shit.
they're like it's like, can't we just have a zombie movie? Do we have to have like a father-daughter redemption story?
Yeah,
Do we have to have this whole like coyote smuggling, save these people that shouldn't even be alive? They should have been turned into more alphas. I'm calling them alpha zombies. I don't know what else to call them. Well, alpha zombies.
And by the way, if you really wanted to send him home and do it right, the second she shoots her dad, it's all fucking the mist. And just fucking.
Oh my god! Well, yeah.
I mean, dude, you
Right, that
literally...
helicopter that landed.
Yeah.
Should have been like, we have a cure.
Yeah. Not for nothing. I know people are still plenty pissed about it. The mist ending is the most realistic ending I've ever seen.
That's
in
a
fucking
fantastic
movie.
ending.
I love the ending of that fucking movie so much.
That's good.
Because you're like, bro, but it's so real.
I wish it was very Lovecrafty, but I wish it was more, if that makes any sense. I wish it were more.
They kind of like held back too much. But
no, it wasn't. They held back. It's just all the characters. Not the characters, but all the like creatures and the idea that they're coming from someone opened a experimental portal to another reality, and the poisonous environment was pouring through along with all the critters. It was Lovecraftian, but and I think even like either the name of the base, or the mountain or the town that the base was in was like a Lovecraft reference too. But it just wasn't enough. I needed more tentacles or
Ben loves his tentacles.
Yeah.
What else you got there, buddy?
Well, Tanaka was like, that whole thing was just like, just tell him we're hiring you to go get ahead.
It's here's the weird thing is like,
and he's like, it's like when Batista calls him, he's meeting with all these admirals and generals, and it's like obvious there's something else going on, and
weird. It just
they're not all colluding to grab 250 million or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
all those scenes were.
Plus, by the way, didn't it look like way more money in that safe than they could fucking haul out of there? Anyways?
Yeah, that's more than $2 million or $200 million.
Well, it didn't matter how much it was. It could have been in ones, for all we know. But just the quantity of bills looked like more than the duffel bags they brought.
Yeah, they
you know what I mean?
A few trips.
So
it's just, here's the thing: movie was so predictable. You knew exactly what was happening. You're like, oh, look, the old white talking heads. Like, they're like, it's fine if we are in fact getting some kind of weird Zack Snyder zombie-matic universe.
We are, I think.
If that's the case, then all this ridiculous nonsense is fine. But a lot of it felt like,
well, we're getting at least 2 other projects before Zack even does anything to continue.
Because you're just like, that has to happen for that to happen. This has to happen for that. When is this character? There it goes. There's the character doing the thing that has to make this one thing happen. And it just felt so contrived at points. But it was so much fun getting from point A to point B that I didn't care.
I enjoyed a lot of the deaths.
Yeah,
like
they really kind of went out of their way to. Make all the
YouTube guy you thought was going to be super annoying, but he was super cool the whole time. The internet guy.
Isn't it weird that the smartest character in the movie was his YouTube useless friend who's like, bro, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm not doing this shit.
But he went out like a badass.
Yeah.
His friend also the girl went out like a badass. Batista's girl, not daughter, but the one that was in love with him, or that they had a thing. They finally they're standing there in front of the elevator having it out, and they both realize that there's still a chance for the both of them, and literally her neck gets swung all the way around and the bone's sticking out. And
if you love Dave Bautista in a movie, you're going to die.
Oh yeah, in this.
I mean, still, look at Guardians. His family's dead.
No, I at first I meant
any movie?
Way you phrased it, it was like if you love Batista in a movie, like if you enjoy watching him in a movie.
Oh no! No! If you physically,
it's what is this, The Ring?
If you want to physically,
you watch a Batista movie and then your phone rings and someone says 7 days.
That's a good idea for a movie, by the way. But no, it just seems weird. It's like every time I've ever seen Batista, like he has this tragic backstory, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, do I know his real backstory? Is he just gonna I know his one wife had cancer, and was banging Melina, but that's
easy.
That's a long time. It happened. Though. Everyone knows. Listen,
didn't Booker T get in a fight with him over that?
Something like, yeah,
in public.
I think he did
because they were friends with him and his wife or something.
This is all wrestling.
They
stuff,
double dated. Listen, I've come to realize that Batista seems like a decent enough guy. I've met him several times. doing the
He's like the rest of us.
doing the autograph stuff with Jackie.
He makes mistakes.
But he is not a good. It seems like he's not a good husband and dad. I think he's got estranged kids, and he's had a few failed.
But he's a fun dude to hang around.
I mean, but if you're one of his dogs, he'll get you tattooed on him.
But if you're kids, you ain't even getting the money.
I was shocked that that they killed the safecracker.
We didn't see him die.
Well, he's not. He may be. Well, yes, we did see him die because he wasn't locked in the vault. The
nuke, yeah.
So
yeah,
everyone,
the nuke would have done
theoretically, he's gone. He may have been a clever zombie for a little bit, but here, let's get to this. He saves Vanderhoo, was that his name?
The third person of the
the guy that had the saw.
Yeah,
it was kind of a badass.
And by the way, the end of that, very vampire in Brooklyn.
He pushes him into the vault, closes it, and as he's getting like grabbed by Zeus, so you assume he got bit by Zeus, and then they all got nuked. Zeus got his head blown off.
And somehow he survived a nuclear explosion.
Well,
in a vault.
Here's my fault with the vault, is that
I like it.
I didn't hear like the tumblers close
or
like
anything.
He got
just
locked
the door
in there.
Closed.
So I don't know why Zeus couldn't have just opened it after he bit whatever the German guy, I forget his name, the safecracker, and pull him out. But apparently he stayed in the vault. Now, if you were locked in the vault, there's no way you climb out of the vault. You don't make a vault with an escape hatch in it because that's like you come in that way too, which would defeat the purpose of a vault. So I'm assuming the vault door got closed, didn't lock, nobody tried to open it, so he just chilled out in there, and then the bomb went off. He survived the bomb, but then he's crawling out 20 minutes after the bomb went off?
Yeah, he's dead.
They called it a nuke like 20 times in the movie.
They made that a big point.
They called it a nuke 20 times in the movie. Like the second he stuck his head out of the vault, he had about 15 minutes to live.
Not a single one of these people played Fallout, by the way.
Right. But instead he crawls out of the vault. Apparently was bitten.
Mm-hmm. And it took like 36 fucking hours for it to kick in.
Because not only does he have to walk out of Vegas, but then he has to find a car, drive to an airport, bribe someone to fly him somewhere, and then they're halfway to Mexico City before he starts feeling
a little down,
a little lightheaded, and a little cold to the touch.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a little convenient there.
And so I assume if they do another Dead movie, maybe he's now the alpha.
You know what?
In Mexico City? Mexico City sounds cheaper to shoot in than Vegas.
Where does Dawn of the Dead take place?
Oh, Philadelphia. Pennsylvania.
Milwaukee. Set in Milwaukee.
The Snyder one, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to see. It was
just a random mall.
I just want to see.
Like a suburban, not a metropolitan kind of area.
I was hoping to see.
So then that boat
Mexico City
that they were trying to get to was on a lake.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't on the ocean.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I guess now I understand. I didn't realize where they were when they were trying to run to the boat in that movie.
Yeah, so Milwaukee, Lake Michigan or whatever.
Well, so
Superior. I don't know. I can't remember.
So I guess what they're trying to do is say that Vanderhoo lived.
Well, lived, yes.
Well,
for how long?
No.
But is he the new alpha now?
I'm saying he lived through a nuclear bomb, and then walked out of Vegas with no water. Drove to the airport and was on his way to Mexico City, and then realized he was bit Like, didn't even know he was bit until then. Didn't do, like, his arm didn't even hurt until then.
Is that how it works?
I don't
you have
know.
to physically, you have to visually see it. Like, if you get bit on like your lower back, are you just good?
Yeah,
Until like you see like an unfortunate ankle in a mirror.
It's
one
like
day?
a referee in wrestling. If he didn't see it, it didn't happen.
That's weird. But okay. I mean, listen. That's as logical as anything else that happened in this movie.
Right. It's all over the place. I liked some funny things that made me chuckle was when they do the it's a way you introduce people in a heist movie. You go and you're putting your list together and you go and recruit everyone, and everyone doesn't want to do it, and you have to convince them to
By the way, when they get the YouTube guy, is he gacking zombies inside the walls? Because he seemed to be like the first time he'd ever been inside when they actually got in the walls. Who's he shooting?
No, I think what we're saying is he was like probably in the suburbs of Vegas, and those videos were from before they pushed them in and walled them up.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. See, they weren't very clear on that.
Yeah, no, he was shooting real zombies.
Yeah.
But it was funny because he was doing, all right, I'll kill 2 with 1 bullet.
Yeah.
This one, and 3 with 1. That's funny. But as they went to recruit everyone, as they went, each consecutive person was getting offered less and less money. If you notice, like it was 15, 15, 15, 2 million for Tig. Then like, what was it, like $200,000 or $100,000 for
$250
for the safe cracker, and then like $20,000 for the YouTube guy. Or like maybe it was $20,000 for the security guy, the rapist security guy. And, and $100,000 for
something like that
for the internet
$20,000
influencer, social media influencer, whatever you want to call him. I was just like, yeah, you saw it, like getting. They were like, all right, less money.
And the Kristen Stewart character, I don't know, she was
when you say Kristen, you mean the coyote?
Yeah.
It was like
I kept thinking it was Kristen Stewart.
There's so much there. She's French. She's like a badass.
There's a great backstory there.
There's like a lot. You could have made her like, and then like a lot of like her involvement with Garrett Dillahunt to go get the blood that turns out to be a head. It's like, God damn it, dude. If you had taken any other zombie's head, you wouldn't have had a problem. You had to take the zombie queen's head. 2, she says, oh, we're fucked when they see this body. And yet neither of them go, why don't we stuff her in any random fucking trunk?
Yeah.
Or take it and burn it.
Anything but leave her out in the open for all to see.
Right on display. Right where they killed her.
At like the meeting place.
Right. Right. It was like...
It's like Caesar on the steps of the fucking Senate, man.
Yeah. It was like... It was so retarded. I'm like... I mean, obviously he's got to have a reason to be angry and realize... And it was a way to...
It was
a way to show the pregnancy thing, which was this weird. I don't even understand. Like at first, when they first show them in that like whatever weird area where there was the big empty pool that they never used for anything, it would have been a great like combat pit or something. But why do something cool like that?
Why do anything cool with any of the things that we pointed out?
But he like gets his head, puts his head down by her stomach. And there's like, and I'm like, is she pregnant? What's he doing? And 2, like, it was weird because it was like, it was kind of like they kept calling her Zombie Bride. But wasn't the girl I was giving the dude the gibber at the beginning of the movie? Weren't they just married? Wasn't she the bride? But it wasn't her.
No.
It was just like some showgirl with a crown.
Because those people exploded.
But it was kind of like you introduced us to a bride earlier. And then you're calling this thing, or dressing her up like a zombie bride. It was like, I from like a little bit of me, I was confused. Is this her? Is this not her? I
wanted it to be Batista's wife.
Oh yeah.
But I was like,
it can't be.
I know.
He put a knife in her head.
It should have been ambiguous. It should have been like, what you did to mom was wrong. What I did to mom was the best I could do. And you find out.
It should have been like he didn't have the heart to kill her.
Yes.
And the daughter wanted. Yeah. See, that's better. That's better heat than, you know, you never call. Well, I thought you hated me.
Yeah.
You know.
I refuse to talk to you.
That's why I thought. That's why I almost thought that this was his stepdaughter, to be able to walk away from her. like that.
Someone's going to make fun of that scene, by the way.
Which scene?
With him stabbing his wife in the top of the head and him screaming, her screaming, everyone screaming. SNL's over, but somebody's going to make fun of that at some point. Or the world doesn't know how to have humor anymore.
I'm crossing Zombie Tiger off the list because we already talked about Zombie Tiger.
Fucking love that fucking tiger. I wanted a zombie fucking Tiger King.
Yeah, but
that would have been topical.
He's not Vegas.
No.
He's Florida.
Florida, by the way, is safe through all of this.
Yeah. Can we just? I think one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie was when the German guy told the Japanese guy that you can't say easy peasy Japanese.
Oh, that's right.
And then there's like, well, I mean, I can. I'm Japanese.
No, Tig goes, no, he's Japanesey. It's all right.
What else do we got here? Yeah, the short sleeves and tank tops, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, any professional zombie explorer will tell you that their attire was totally wrong. And by the way, if you're a professional zombie, like preparer or explorer or whatnot,
here's the other thing.
Go get a goddamn blowjob.
Here's the other thing that really felt like they stole it from a movie, because I couldn't not think it immediately.
What?
Was when they end up at the roof and the helicopter's gone. And you're like, aliens.
Oh, fuck yeah.
When Bishop...
Ben, there was
platform was unstable.
I'm telling you, there was some aliens heavy shit in this movie. Like, Zack Snyder, like, apparently wrote this, like, during quarantine. No, I'm saying not during quarantine, but he apparently wrote this. Like, No,
he said he wrote this a decade ago.
Oh, really?
Like, he's had this idea for a decade. And that when he... I think when he was talking to Netflix about stuff, he just casually said, "Yeah, I've had this thing for years about
his influence."
And they're like, "Why don't we do that?"
Yeah, the influences are very they're out there.
I feel. Here's what I feel.
Hey kids, this is from this.
Is that Zack Snyder is a wonderful visual director.
God, is he?
He's a solid storyteller, but he needs better source material. When he is given the reins to write his own scripts, is where we run into these problems.
It's so true.
Like, he should have called his boy James Gunn in for a dust up on this one, a little dust off of this one, just to kind of trim around the edges.
I at least just emailed it to him for a weekend.
Or,
hey James, what do you think?
Or hire someone, man.
Yeah. He's a little bit. He's one of those guys that doesn't do well in his own echo chamber.
No. Especially since his producer's his wife.
Yeah, there's nobody to tell him no.
No, they're just bouncing the same bad ideas off each other, going, "We're brilliant."
To be fair, they're not exactly not brilliant. They are very rich.
Yeah, I mean, that's not everything. When half your movies are derided for being...
Ben, if you knew you didn't have to work any longer because you created something.
Did you know that he already... This is why Warner Brothers isn't talking to him. Because he just also dropped the hint that there's a Sucker Punch director's cut.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And they're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
This is what we need. Another round of harassing tweets.
I've never seen Sucker Punch.
It's worth seeing.
Is it? Okay.
Here's my thing about Sucker Punch. Again, it's exactly this movie in terms of it's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do with it, but it's heavy-handed, and he doesn't get like subtlety and nuance too much, especially when dealing with like certain themes.
Yeah.
And that movie deals with like, I don't know, like mental problems and physical abuse and maybe sexual abuse and all kinds of, and most of everything you see that's spectacular is within their own headscape, with their own mind. But the visuals in that movie are second to none. Like the giant samurai battle and the World War I or II stuff, and Jamie Chung is super hot in this movie. She's smoking hot in this movie. The other girl, I mean, it's like five cute girls fucking shit up, you know.
I'll give him this.
It's worth seeing once to be like, that was really cool. I don't know that I understood it or like it, but it looked really fucking good.
I will say this about Zack Snyder. he's officially made his shortest movie in like a decade. Because
This was over 2 hours, though.
But it was under 2.5.
But it was under 4.
Yeah, it was under 4. Okay. But him and his grand visions end up like multiple pee breaks.
I'll say this. After watching it twice, I didn't feel like there was too much slow-mo in this one.
No, there really wasn't.
Yeah.
There really wasn't. It's weird. It's weird because you look through all his movies and they have so much things that are similar in common, but so many things are just different that don't carry one movie to the next.
I loved in this movie the idea of him being smart enough to have the bulletproof helmet and wearing like, I mean, Tig says it was that guy wearing it. Was that zombie wearing a cape? To have the cape, it was almost 300-ish, especially when he had the spear. At one point,
totally on purpose, by the way.
I would have loved if his army all had spears and capes and helmets.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, you know? It's like they should all be like, even if he's not encouraging it or discouraging it, it should be like, oh, well, we see him using a weapon and having a helmet. Let's go. I would have loved to see like guys with zombie, like a whole mix of things, wearing football helmets and whatever, welders hats and all that shit, welders masks, whatever. Would have been kind of more interesting.
Some dude just dressed as a mascot.
Plus, you would have had to do less. You'd have to spend less time in some of those big group scenes with making up 200 zombies' faces. And if they wore more clothes, you wouldn't even have to do makeup on the bodies either. You just put them in ripped clothes. Unfortunately, all these.
You just got a bunch of CrossFit models.
Once Alpha bit you, yeah, your shirt dissolved and you had abs. And I didn't see one fat zombie.
No,
I didn't see one fat zombie. Like that's the fun thing about zombies. You get that cross of life in like other zombie movies where you get like the huge variety of everybody. And you see what they look like 2 weeks decomposed. That's the fun thing about making a zombie movie.
Like, where was the old zombie still at the...
Right, pulling
just pulling, the thing.
Pulling the
fucking,
the slot machines.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the kind of fun stuff that I was like, I felt was kind of lacking.
Right,
because the intro, the first 4 minutes of the movie, the intro of that movie, you were like, bro, this is crazy. Like, can they keep this up for 2 hours and 2 minutes or whatever it was? They can't.
Yeah,
but they should have.
I was lucky that no one was watching with me because I subconsciously have a hard dick in my hand. I didn't.
Cross that one off your list.
My body was ready.
It felt like a Left 4 Dead game at first, and then it kind of like transitioned into a movie which the world is okay with zombies. We're gonna blow them up to get rid of them. Everybody to go about their lives. But it would happen. It would happen if that similar situation were to happen. It wouldn't be as wonky and zany, but maybe it would. We lived through fucking 4 years of a crazy used car salesman. We may very well follow the steps should that happen in real life. I can totally see that.
Well, if the zombies were contained to one spot,
yeah,
I guarantee the rest
it
of
would
the
be
country,
a tourist attraction.
The rest of the country would move on with their day.
Disney would just find a way to monetize it.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I liked the movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
I feel like despite the fact that we just ripped it for an hour.
Well, you just can't think about it too hard.
Yeah,
you just have to like enjoy it. You know. Just enjoy it, and when you get the good moments, just enjoy those. There wasn't too many bad moments.
He walked out of a fucking nuclear blast zone.
Yeah, no, it was awful, Ben. You can't think about it. You can't think about it because the only
shit was like edges of things had still glowing embers on them.
Yeah,
like as he was walking out. He was breathing the smoke and
He would have been dead in his first 13 steps.
Yeah.
Okay? It'd been like the end of Kill Bill 2.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. The five steps of heart.
Well, he had to go through the 3 trials of Christ to even get to the fucking door. So
right. he doesn't seem like the type of guy that would just say fuck it and land in Mexico City and try to he knows there's no cure.
He seemed weird, yeah.
It's like it doesn't. That character does. You wrote him a little bit too
So what he does, he goes,
smart and thoughtful.
He kills his way to the cockpit and he crashes that jet.
Whatever. It doesn't even do. He just kill himself. Just he didn't
With
board the
hors
plane
d'oeuvres?
with any guns.
He has
or
hors
any-
d'oeuvres. He can chew. He can like choke on the fucking hors d'oeuvres.
No,
maybe.
because then he wouldn't. You got to kill the brain. Remember?
Oh.
He would just be a zombie faster that way.
But he wouldn't be hungry. Yeah, no, there was definitely no. There were no rules, and if there were rules, those rules were broken once the story necessitated it. You know.
All that said, I'll probably watch it a third time.
No, it's a fun movie. Like it's one of those. It's kind of one of those movies. Like I could see playing this in the background and just popping in for my favorite scenes or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's something you could play like you're cooking dinner or something. Like you don't need to see it. You're like, oh, the tiger seed's coming up. Oh, watch that. Then skitter back into the kitchen to finish your meal, kind of shit. That's what it feels like to me. It's not one of those movies you sit down and you damn sure can't fucking analyze it. It'll hurt your brain.
Right. We just did that. We
yeah.
both have headaches.
Yes. But I had fun.
Yeah, I just in our whole discussion, I got confused. I thought you were talking about the boss. when you were
No,
talking
I had no
about
problem with
guy.
the casting the boss. Whatever.
I'm surprised you didn't like that, or you didn't recognize that guy.
I've seen him in 1,000 things.
Yeah.
No, him I knew, but you're talking.
No, I'm saying the guy that
Well, yeah, but you were talking as if
the
the.
security guy is what I'm.
Oh no, yeah, I haven't seen him but I've never seen Deadwood, so
I mean, he's been in like a lot of shit.
I'm sure I've seen him before, Ben, but he's not. He didn't like him in that role was a disservice, 100%. If the idea was him to pop up, you would go, "Oh fuck," that didn't happen to me at all. I went, "Hey, it's a guy that looks like another guy I know."
It's just like he was sort of a badass, but they didn't explain on
He
that.
should have been
He was
Carl Weathers from fucking Predator, and
He
he
was
wasn't.
kind of a prankster, but he wasn't enough of
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
he was kind of a dick, but not enough of that.
He should have been Carl Weathers from fucking Predator.
But also, it was like they kind of
Son of a bitch.
had two characters that were
Because that's who it should have been. It should have been like Batista's buddy should have been with Tanaka and been like, bro, I got you. Like, this guy's good. And then they go in and then he does his own shit.
Right.
And then they have, I mean, there's so many stories there, you know? Like,
Yeah.
again, if someone read over.
right. Instead of like going for the heist, he looks over and he's going through papers like Carl Weathers
Yeah.
was looking for something.
And you're like, Dillian.
Dylan,
But,
what's the matter? Got you pushing too many pencils?
so there was there was to me like a much better movie if Zack Snyder would have put down.
Hired a writer.
Yes, hire a writer. There you go. If he'd have hired a writer, I think the movie would have.
They
been
may
better.
have hired a writer, but it was within his echo chamber of.
Oh, absolutely.
This was like, this had the feel of George Lucas making those prequels all on his own. And then showing the movie to a bunch of people that should have had his back and told him how bad it was and that he needed help, but instead all sat and watched the movie with him. Spielberg, Ron Howard, those motherfuckers, and just
gargled on that dick.
just said,
afterwards.
"Oh, wonderful,
Yeah.
George, wonderful."
Your creative expression is
Wonderful.
at the fucking
I
pinnacle.
love the 4 climaxes and the kid accidentally blowing up the thing.
All that said,
Wonderful. That child is such a good actor.
all that said,
Wonderful,
Army of the
George.
Dead is better than Phantom Menace.
That can be said about many a thing.
But if we're just on that comparison, better movie.
I mean, that is the worst Star Wars movie, isn't it?
no, Attack of the Clones is the worst
Is it?
one. Oh, bro, Attack of the Clones is the
But
one.
it had like 50% less Jar Jar.
I didn't mind Jar Jar.
Oh, that's because you're a racist piece of
Oh my god!
shit. You're hearkening back to your. You probably. You know what you do? You hold one of those old Aunt Jemima bottles that's shaped like the black woman, shaped like a fat mammy, and you stroke it while you watch that movie, and just sniff the maple syrup out of the top of her head.
I had no problem with Jar Jar. I was also 14 years old.
Miss a day, my soul.
I felt Jar Jar was an attempt to make a character that we gave a fuck about and failed miserably, but I didn't hate Jar Jar. I just went, well, that's the last
Between
we'll ever
that
see
and
of
like
them.
the 2 aliens that were running like the consortium or whatever, the trade consortium.
Oh, yeah.
That had like the gooky Asian accents or whatever. It was so bad. It
That
was
movie
like,
definitely couldn't be made in 2021. Just some of the characterizations, yeah.
George, man.
Yeah, and again, at some point you get stuck in your own echo
You're going to go to
chamber.
George. When George Lucas dies, someone's going to be like dealing with his estate. And they're going to go in his closet. There's going to be a secret compartment like in the first episode of The Watchmen where Don Johnson had his old Klan robes.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, you didn't see Watchmen, did you?
No.
What a piece of shit. I can't believe you haven't seen Watchmen yet.
It's on the list,
It's
buddy.
shameful.
Dude, it took me 3 days to force myself to watch this movie.
Yeah, but this isn't with me telling you it's the best TV show made that year.
Mm.
This wasn't even the
When was
best movie
Watchmen
made that week, huh?
When was Watchmen made?
I think it came out in
It was 2019?
the 19, beginning of 20, somewhere around there. I think it was pre-pandemic.
I'm trying to think of a better show, but nothing coming up. I'm not even really thinking about shows that came out that time. I don't think I can remember it this far back. All right, buddy.
All right, I've fucking had it. We talked we talked way too long about zombies without talking about any good zombies.
All right, everybody. Like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.